Good afternoon. You're watching BWTM Sports in association with Round for Round Boxing. So the news is just broken. David Haye is now to manage War Chisora. No more Del Boy Chisora, but War Chisora. So breaking news across British boxing. The former WBA heavyweight champion of the world is now managing his arch rival and nemesis, who fought on my birthday, July 15th, or I think back in 2012, I believe, the day after I flew out to the Caribbean. The next day, I think the Olympics also begun as well. So in Upton Park, those two fought. I remember that was the first time I covered a boxing event for Fight Hype. I covered it for Fight Hype. It was my first time. I followed Chisora around, thanks to Don Charles. Gave me a great introduction into the world of boxing with my little camera, provided to me at the time by none other than Apollo James Jackson. And I began my journey. We managed to feature in one of the episodes of Behind the Ropes or Behind something like that. It was the Box Nation. Is it Box Nation? It may have been, but it was just the behind the scenes. I think it was episode 2, episode 3. You'll see me in it, filming, interviewing various people, including Dereck Chisora. My thoughts? Well, this is not uncommon. This is nothing new. And if you think about the ideologies of Dereck Chisora and David Haye, they pretty much are the same. I think when Dereck Chisora understood or came to the knowledge of what the sport of boxing was really about, and he got screwed over more than enough times, and I'm sure he has done. I've heard some stories about Dereck Chisora behind closed doors, about some of the negotiation and things that happened with him. And so therefore now, it's all about, for him, it's all about the money. It's about making as much money as possible. And where he may have not respected David Haye in some of the moves he's made, he probably respects David Haye as well in some of the moves he did make, in terms of making as much money as possible and getting at the sport with his faculties intact. So I guess when he looks at David Haye, he looks at something he admires, something that something he feels that he can still attain. David Haye, when he looked at Dereck Chisora, before the Takam fight, he openly admitted, well, he maybe not openly admitted, but he felt that Takam was going to beat up Chisora. He felt that Chisora was washed up, shot. Then he goes and pulls out that punch. I won't say out from nowhere, because he's in the world of boxing and he's in a boxing ring, but it was a punch that Takam didn't expect, and a punch that many in boxing didn't expect. And it kind of turned Dereck Chisora around in terms of where his career is facing now. The rematch with Dillian Whyte is the one most touted about in December. And I always wondered why Dillian Whyte or Dereck Chisora wouldn't fight for the WBA title. Well, that's been squared off now, because Eddie Hearn has now got Big Bully Miller to go down the WBA route. So that, in a sense, itself leaves a question mark open, potentially, of Big Baby Miller making his first defense of the title against Dereck Chisora or Dillian Whyte. Why do I say that? Because people would love to see Dillian Whyte fight Big Bully Miller, and I'm sure that people would love to see Dereck Chisora fight Big Bully Miller. So the loser of that fight could go on and fight Big Bully Miller, and the winner of the fight will go on and fight Anthony Joshua. Just my thoughts. I'm not saying this is the case, but it certainly works out that way. So Dereck Chisora gets a fight for the world title again. The last time he fought for the world title, I believe, was against Vitaly Klitschko. In fact, I remember meeting, that was the first time I actually met Dereck Chisora, and we actually sat down together, and we had a Nando's. It was me, my wife, Dereck, and his missus. And we sat down, and we talked about Vitaly Klitschko and the fact he was going to face Vitaly Klitschko. And a very, very interesting character. And Dereck Chisora is very interesting. When I was sitting down talking to Dereck and having a little Nando's, I talked to him and I said to him, I asked the question, would you actually watch heavyweight boxing? He says, no, I don't really watch heavyweight boxing. I don't really watch much boxers. I'm like, well, surely you want to watch boxers. Nah, I don't do that. I leave that for Don Charles to do. So it is what it is. David Haye made some very interesting points. He talked about Dereck Chisora getting himself in shape and being in great shape and eating the right foods and doing the right things. Well, he has got something. He's got an experienced pro in Dereck Chisora. But I don't know how long in the tooth Dereck Chisora is in terms of how much wear and tear he's got in his body, how much miles he's got left in the clock. That tack and fight would have taken a lot out of him. 1, 2. How much Dereck Chisora will actually listen to David Haye's instructions of getting himself into shape, in the sort of shape he needs to be in. Having said that, he was in pretty damn good shape when he fought Takam, because he was taking a beating against Takam, let's be fair. And he was able to come back and have the endurance and the stamina to outlast Takam and knock Takam out. So that takes some doing in itself, a feat that even the great Anthony Joshua couldn't do. So where this relationship goes between Dereck Chisora and David Haye, God only knows. But David Haye is the master of promotions. He's got Chisora now. I think he's promoting him and managing him. So it's interesting that how that dynamic's going to work, particularly with David Haye's dynamics with Eddie Hearn. That would be interesting. Maybe David and Eddie have, resolved their differences, and it's not personal, it's business. So who knows? But David certainly knows how to promote the fight. Did it very well in his own career. He's charismatic, and these two are going to be funny to watch. It's going to be absolutely hilarious watching these two fight. Considering it wasn't too long ago that David Haye was still up in Derek's face trying to get Joe Joyce to fight him. So it is fascinating how this is going to work out. For me, it's exciting. But it's nothing new in boxing. Howard Eastman, when he knocked out Robert McCracken, he then asked Robert McCracken to become his trainer. Oscar De La Hoya, when he got knocked out by Bernard Hopkins, goes on to become his business partner. So it happens. Hey, Oscar De La Hoya gets his ass kicked by Sugar Shane Mosley, becomes a business partner at one point. So something about getting your ass kicked, but and then somebody ends up being your trainer or your manager. Interesting times. But this is a nice one. It was Chisora got his ass kicked by David Haye, and now David Haye's managing him. So, I don't know how long Dereck was thinking about doing this, but he's hot from person to person. I think he's left. If he's being managed now, then he's no longer being managed by Steve Goodwin. Surprise, surprise. If that's the case, because if David's managing him, then there's no need for Steve Goodwin, and he doesn't need a promoter because he's got David Haye and he's got Ring Star Promotions. So I guess that's from what I'm seeing. It's not a bad thing. So David, cuts ties with Joe Joyce, and I think he cut ties with Joe Joyce. I'm not sure, but I know for sure he's with Dereck Chisora now. So it should be exciting. Should be exciting times. So David Haye, Dereck Chisora, and Dillian Whyte all in the same room. David knows Dillian from South London days. They've sparred together. Then they've got Dillian and Dereck. Well, it's going to be a three-way tag team, not tag team, three-way triple threat. David Haye, Dereck Chisora, and Dillian Whyte all in the same room. If Dereck Chisora and Dillian Whyte start scuffling again, well, David and Dereck done it before, so who knows? He might have David coming across the room and putting a boot in. No, in all seriousness, listen, anything's possible in boxing, and these two together now. So the bromance begins between Haye and Chisora. No longer Del Boy, now War Chisora. I think David say, look, you got a great win against Takam there. Let's move on from that. Let's move on. Let's get some momentum. Let's make some things happen. Let's make a big goal of things. And David probably looking and saying, you know what? If Miller's going to fight for the title, the WBA title, and he wins that title, then hey, we can shoot for Miller next. A big fight here in the UK, pay-per-view, on Channel 5 or something. Who knows? But it's how much Dereck Chisora's got left in the tank. Whether Dereck Chisora can remain motivated, whether he's going to come in shape, and a most important thing, how much Dereck Chisora's got left at the age he's at, and the amount of wars he's had, and the various defeats he's had, and he's come back, how much has Dereck Chisora got left? We know one thing: he's all about the money, that's for sure. But you know, and maybe a crack at the world title could happen to Dereck as well. So, wish him all the best. Congratulations to David Haye. Congratulations to Dereck Chisora. There's a truce there, and both guys now will be working together to, in David Haye's mind, produce an even better Dereck Chisora. He is working already. You know, he said some things about Dereck Chisora, and even when David Haye says things, he's just got this way of making you believe what he says, even if it's not true. And you say, "Look, you are a liar, David." David, he's just got this way of making you believe, or half believe a lie in the way David is. David is so charismatic. he could turn a turd on the street into a brand new car. I'm telling you, and take that's a brilliant piece of turd you got on the floor there. David has that ability. He really is a great promoter. He's great in promoting. He was great in promoting himself. He's able to maneuver himself out of that situation with Tyson Fury, even though, you know, he did get a lot of stick for it. Maneuvered his way out of the whole Klitschko situation when he was getting slapped for the Fury thing, getting slapped for pulling out against Klitschko, getting slapped for pulling out the toe gate. So David Haye's got a way of reinventing himself, not even reinventing himself, just being charismatic. And if David Haye said, "Look, I'm going to fight tomorrow," and he had both legs, you know, he broke both his legs, and he would be able to sell a fight and tell you, "You know what? I've made a miraculous recovery," and he'd come back and fight, and people still watching fight. That's just the kind of guy David is. David is charismatic, and now that trained with Dereck Chisora is like the Legion of Doom. So it should be fun. Let the David Haye, Dereck Chisora story begin, and I will sit back expecting lots of laughter, disaster, chaos, mayhem, and excitement in the heavyweight division for as long as Dereck Chisora's career lasts and his relationship with David Haye. Thanks for watching BWTN Sports. Don't forget to subscribe. We're out. Take care.